Are your children smart or not? Kung hindi sila magaling sa academics, may kalalagyan ba sila sa mundong ito? Well, hello everyone. Good morning and welcome to another episode of The Bee Mom. And I'm Mami Ayo. May isang salita sa Filipino na napakasakit kung ikaw ang tatanggap. Naalala ko pa, as young as kindergarten, imagine I was only like 6 years old, when my teacher called out and said, "Ang bobo mo." At ang isang experience na yon talagang tumimo sa akin. To this day, naalala ko pa, pati ang pangalan niya, pero napatawad ko na siya a long time ago. Well, today we're going to talk about the different kinds of smarts or the multiple intelligences. Okay, before we move on to that, sabi ko nga, ang sakit makatanggap ng salitang bobo, hindi po ba? Or dumb sa English. And pwede maging traumatic sa isang bata growing up, and that might really hinder the abilities to progress. Buti na lang, meron tayong paraan para ma-overcome, ma-rewire natin ang ating brain pagdating dyan. Ngayon, bigyan natin ng scientific background para mas maintindihan natin. It was Howard Gardner back in 1983, I was only 3 years old, nung sinulat niya ang librong Frames of Mind. That was the first time multiple intelligences was introduced to the world. At sinabi niya na merong at least 8 kinds of smarts that we all possess. Okay? And it posits that maaaring lahat tayo magkaroon ng ganitong klase ng intelligences, but at different proportions or proficiency. Depende sa genetics and experience. Tinatawag nating nature and nurture. Yung genetics, which is nature, and the nurture, which is the environment or our experiences. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about or enumerate the 8 smarts. Number 1, we have the linguistic intelligence, or tinatawag nating word smart. And I think I really share this kind of intelligence kasi mahilig talaga ako sa language. I can easily learn it, especially English. Ito yung mga taong nagagawa nilang buuhin, no? Pagtagpi-tagpiin yung mga salita to really create something beautiful. Poets, novelists, journalists, yan ang mga people, word smart rather, okay? The linguistic intelligence. Another one is what you call the logical mathematical intelligence, o yung tinatawag nating number or reasoning smart. Ito po yung mga taong napakagaling sa numero, and unfortunately, I grew up not really hating, but pansin ko talaga hindi ako nag-excel dito at maraming pagkakataon na umiyak ako as a student because I didn't just know how to go about it, but when I grew up, I realized na ganun lang pala yun. Buti sana pala naintindihan ko how it's done at a young age. Okay, so number and reasoning, mga taong magaling dito, mathematicians, scientists, anything that can explain about the complex. Yung mga tinatawag nating mga formulas, and that's it. Pangatlo po ang tinatawag nating spatial or speech smart. These are people who see the world in 3D. They can look into the minutest detail and still understand it. Kaya nga ito po yung mga piloto, mga architect, and mga surgeon who understands yung pasikot-sikot. Imaginein mo kung ikaw ay doktor na makakabisaduhin mo lahat ng parts ng nerves. And I was watching another YouTube channel, Dr. Mike, when he was telling us it's so easy to see things kapag ka meron pang structure, but kapag binigay na sa yung isang nerve na lang, it's so hard to identify that. And yet there are people who can do just that. All right? Number 4, we have the bodily kinesthetic or the body smart. Ibig sabihin, ito yung ginagamit yung katawan. No? These are the athletes. No? Pag sinabi natin athletes, alam na lahat na yan. Basketball players, you have the swimmers, you have the different kinds of sports. Magagaling talaga sila. No? Their bodies are coordinated with their minds and they can carry out difficult stunts and all. Okay? Sana tayo. Let's move on to musical intelligence or music smart. Are you musically inclined? Meron akong anak, no, na self-taught when she started playing ukulele all by herself. And in no time, she was like playing talaga na, ang galing-galing naman ito. Pero ako, hanggang ngayon, wala akong pag-asa sa string instruments. But I have really learned playing the piano. And after that, she moved on to another instrument. Self-taught pa rin ang bata. So basic, tinuruan ng teacher, but she's on her own right now with piano. And she's playing a lot of musical scores already. Sabi ko talaga, ito ang kanyang ability. Okay? So let's move on to interpersonal or people smart. May mga bata na napakagaling, no? They're so smart around people. They're not afraid or shy to engage people in conversation. They know how to not talk, but to represent themselves. Kahit mga bata pa, ang gagaling magsalita. So we're now talking about people who have future careers in sales, in management, public relations, anything that relates to working with people. Then we have the naturalist or the nature smart. Ito naman yung mga tao taking time na naintindihan nila yung paligid nila. No? They really appreciate everything about it. Mga botanists, geologists, volcanologists, and otherists. Sila yung naiintindihan nila yung buhay, no? How nature works. So they will excel in those kind of careers. And lastly, meron din talaga mga bata na they are intrapersonal or self-smart. They understand their feelings, they know what's happening, and they know how to process things. Sila po yung pwedeng maging magaling in the future sa larangan ng psychology, psychotherapy, lahat po yan, no? Understanding other people. The question is, na-identify mo na ba as a parent kung ano yung mga abilities mo? And are you also aware of the different abilities of your children? Now that we have talked about it, I'm sure that mas magiging aware na kayo regarding how we should process. Kasi sadly, and unfortunately, in our world today, only those who are logical and linguistically inclined students, yung magaling sa math, magaling sa English, magaling sa science, are the only ones most celebrated. Sila yung pinaka-valued at school, at work. And tayo, if we are traditional parents, we may really push our children to love the things that they don't like because we want them to excel. Because we don't want them na mahuhuli pagdating po sa mga honor roll. Dapat nandoon din sila. So ang feeling natin kapag hindi sila naka-line of 9 sa certain subject, we feel so devastated. And we have tendency not to blame ourselves, and also ibibigay natin yung pressure sa bata na para yan ang mahalin niya hanggang sa pagtanda niya. And based on many studies and sad experiences, there are children who turn into adults at yun, nagkaroon sila ng regrets, nagkaroon sila ng may bitterness because they were never able to pursue the dreams that they love because they had to satisfy their parents' dreams for them. So ngayon, as we end this episode, I'd like to tell you the 3 reasons bakit kailangan nating maintindihan ang multiple intelligences. Okay? Number 1 is for us to understand and to accept our children's abilities, yung iba't ibang abilities nila. Okay? It's not all about academics. It's not all about body smart. It's not all about being good in nature. Kailangan maintindihan natin diversity because let's say you have like 5, 6, 7 children. Imagine kung isang ginagamit mo as your baseline o ito yung ginagamit mo na model para ikumpara mo sila kay kuya or kay ate, hindi ba nakakadagdag yun sa pressure which is unnecessary for the kids, and it can be traumatic. Number 2 is for you to develop awareness and self-esteem and to build it in your children. Halimbawa, meron din akong isang anak, no? Pagdating sa exam, naalala ko during the pandemic, structured kasi kahit nasa online, So meron lang certain time na kailangan nilang gawin na nando-drawing sila. Tuwing structured time, nakikita ko na yung drawing niya hindi ganun kaganda. But right after the class, when she started doing things on her own, doon ko nakita talaga yung genius na napakagaling pala ng anak ko, na spatial smart, no? Picture smart, ang galing-galing talaga niya. And she's still very young. I mean, 6 years old at that time. Ang galing-galing na mag-drawing. Hanggang ngayon ako sticks lang eh. Okay? Kaya bakit? Kasi nga, kung tayo, hindi natin din na-build yung sarili natin because people called us bobo or dumb or people did not accept our abilities, may tendency na ganun din ang gagawin natin sa ating mga anak. Alright? And number 3 reason why you need to understand multiple intelligences is because ikaw ang gagabay para mabigyan mo ng tamang style sa pagtuturo or learning styles. And you can expose them to the right teachers, the right mentors, the right schools for your children. Kasi sila mismo ang dapat na mag-design ng mga buhay nila, starting with the kind of work they want to do in life. In my seminars and trainings, I keep repeating this to the students, to my audience, that, we will spend a big chunk of our lives working. What if dumating ang panahon ng ating mga anak ay magtatrabaho na, only to find out that they are not meant to be doon sa kinalalagyan nila, because in their mind somehow nangarap sila, ito yung gusto nilang gawin, pero pinigilan natin. Okay, pinatay natin yung kanila mga abilities. So once again, be moms, maging smart tayo. It's not about our children being smart or not, because everybody is smart, everybody is genius. Kailangan lang natin tuklasin ang kanilang sariling intelligences. Until next time in our The Be Mom episode.